Welcome back, guys. You know what time it is. It's time for another Frontend Mentor tutorial. Today we're going to build the single price grid component. So this is a pretty simple design. Again, if you're like a brand new beginner still, maybe it's got some challenges for you, but we'll go ahead and we'll make this one easy for you here. I'll show you exactly how to build it with some simple code. So let's go ahead and get in here and download this thing. I don't want to submit my solution. Let's download the starter pack. Open it up. So I'm just going to be using the style guide files that they give us. I'm not going to be using the Figma professional design. So it's not necessary really, especially for these little simple designs. There's not much benefit to having the pro and having the pro membership and getting the Figma design for these little things anyway. So we'll call this folder single, or I'm just going to call it price grid component. And let's go ahead and open this thing up in VS Code. So I'm going to open up a new window, drag our folder into here. And I'm just going to get rid of everything we don't need. So this design has no images, so I'm just going to get rid of the whole image folder. There's literally no images. We'll delete git ignore. We can keep this nice preview here. We'll keep the design folder. Get rid of the README template. We don't need that. We'll get rid of this other README. I don't know why there's two. And then for the style guide, this is what we're going to go off of to build the design. So we're not going to get this pixel perfect, but we're going to go off of the information they give us and do our best. We'll get it close though. I'll delete this because I don't need that there. All right. So last thing I'm going to do is I like to start with my own HTML. So I'm just copy all the text that's going to go on the project and put it in an HTML comment down here. And then I just delete everything else that they provide and I make my own boilerplate. Okay, so I'm in Visual Studio Code. I'll be using all the shortcuts for there. So to do that, I did Shift exclamation tab to get that boilerplate. Hopefully you know the basics of VS Code. You can follow along with me here, but we're going to be using the code completion. If I type out a div, I'm just going to hit tab and get the closing tag. And then of course, if we want to make classes on divs, you just put dot and what you want, whatever you want the class name to be, and it'll go in the div, stuff like that. So I'll be using those simple shortcuts. So follow along with me, and that's how you do it if you didn't know how to do it before. This video is sponsored by the Complete Web Developer course. This is a full stack course that'll take you from knowing nothing about how the internet works to learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP with MySQL database. So you'll be building full stack apps by the end of it. You'll be a full stack web developer that can harness the full power of the internet to build anything you want, do client work for freelancing, or get a job with a company. This is a no fluff course, guys. There's no theory, there's no BS. It's project based, 100% project based. We build over 20 projects throughout the whole course so that you can see how code works, from the get-go with real projects instead of just watching a bunch of boring theory about, this is a variable, this is an input field, this is this. Just learning the syntax doesn't teach you anything. You have to have an instructor that gives you a dual approach that shows you how stuff works in projects right away. And then later, as you can see here, we do a little bit of review, but with more projects with the same concepts, so you can really hammer the fundamentals down in your head. There's over 400 lessons for my course, but don't let that scare you because I kept every video short on purpose. It's best to learn new stuff, especially something as complicated as web development, in short little bite-sized chunks. So my videos on average are 5 minutes or less per lesson, so you can get through them. They're easily digestible. And yeah, this is one of the only courses, and it's the only course online that's going to take you from zero to full stack PHP developer. And guys, I know PHP gets a bad rap. People don't talk about it a lot. Over 73% of the internet runs on PHP, so it's kind of like being a plumber. Nobody wants to do PHP, but there's tons of jobs, there's tons of money, and it's ingrained and it runs the whole internet. Like, you cannot have the internet without it. Check out the course, just $20 a month to get started. If you want to just purchase it once for a limited time, it's on sale for $99.99. These prices will go up. I'm starting to get more and more students, and pricing will be going up the more students that we get, because I don't want to have like 5,000 students that I have to try to keep track of, right? So supply and demand, get it now while you can, guys. Still get in. This is still the best time to get in on this.
If you're not ready to commit to a course, check the link in the description. You can download my practical web dev roadmap for free. There's this basically turned in, I wanted it to be like a little single page helper, and it turned into almost like a little mini ebook, but it'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to become a professional web developer that makes money as soon as possible. And I even have some good bonus tips in there that'll really help you out as well. If I would have had this roadmap that I created for you guys for free, this definitely would have saved me at least 2 to 3 years off of my learning and just wasting time. So check that out. Again, that's completely free. It's in the description. It's for all of you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get back to the video. All right, guys. So we got everything set up here. Let's start building this thing. So let's look at our preview. Join our community is the heading. So maybe for the title, the page will say join our community or join the community, something like that. So just say join our community. And I'm going to go live here. Let's launch our page. There it is. Okay. And let's put these side by side so we can watch as we build. Luckily, this is just a nice little single column layout. Well, I guess there's multiple columns in one of the parts, but it's a small enough, simple enough layout to where we can build the whole thing just side by side like this and not have to keep resizing the screen to check how it looks on desktop, which is always nice. All right, so let's make our CSS style sheet here. So we'll go style.css, and I'm going to do a CSS reset. So I'm going to say margin 0, padding 0, box sizing border box. And let's connect our style sheet. So let's go up above our title, make my link tag. And we got style sheet as our rel, and we're going to make this be style.css is what we'll connect to. And then we can test this out. Let's do an H1 and just say test. Okay, so there it is. And I'm pretty sure this is working because our CSS reset has gotten rid of all the default margin and padding. We can even say H1 color red. And yeah, now we know for sure our CSS is working, so we're good to go. If we go in our style guide, we can grab the font that we need for this design. So they're using a font family of Carla, and that's a Google font. So we'll go ahead and grab that together here. So let's go to Google Fonts and install this font. So type in Google Fonts. Okay, I think I already have it in my bag, but I'll remove it and do it with you. We'll go to Fonts. And up here, you're just going to search for Carla. There we go. And we'll select Carla. We'll say get font, get embed code, copy all this embed code. We're just going to paste it right in our HTML and our head. And I'm going to do that right above my style sheet. And so this basically just gives us the font. It connects us to Google Fonts and gives us the Carla font. And now we have to actually add it to our CSS so that it shows up on the page. We just got to copy this right here where it says font family Carla with the fallback of sans serif. Just copy that. And we'll put it in our CSS. So we'll just put it on the whole body. We'll say body, font family Carla. And then if we check our page, we can see that now our font has changed to the Carla font. So we're good to go there. We'll keep our H1. We're going to get rid of the color though. We will give our H1 a font weight of 700. And I'll give it a font size of 32 pixels because we are going to use an H1, so we might as well style it now. Next, I'm going to make a container class for the whole design to fit in. So I'm going to say dot container. And this is just kind of like a little utility class to help us keep everything nice and like within the page. So if we do, for example, we'll do max width of our page, going to be 1440 pixels. And then we'll say width 90%. And then we'll say margin auto. So we'll save that, and then so you can see what it's doing, we're going to wrap everything in the container. So I'm going to say dot container and put our H1 and all of our other content in there. Save, and then we'll see it gives us just some like margin padding on the sides so that it keeps it in. Every design in the world has some kind of container class on it. No websites go way out to the edge there because that just looks bad, right? So that's what the container class does. If we go to our style guide, we can see that the font size for the body copy or all the paragraph is 16 pixels. So we can make that happen now since we already know that. So we can just go down here and we can say all paragraphs, font size, 16 pixels. Okay. That's it for like all of our setup stuff. So let's go ahead and get into actually building the real design here. So if we go to, let me grab my colors really quick. So I don't like these HSL colors. I like to make these hex codes. So how I do that is I go to Google and I just type HSL to hex, and then it'll pull up this website, and then we can just go grab the all the hex code colors. So literally, so for this teal, I'm just going to cut it, paste it in here, and it'll give me the hex code color that I want. And then just same thing for this green. And then I'm going to speed this up a little bit and get the rest of the two colors, but go ahead and do this with me. It's best to use hex codes. You don't want to be using these HSLs for your designs because they're just annoying, and VS Code doesn't remember them, so it doesn't save them for you so that you can just use them easily. You have to keep copying and pasting. So I recommend you just get the hex codes with me. All right, guys, so we got all the colors. So this one thing is kind of funny. It says teal 100, but it looks like it's like an off-white. So I don't know if that's a typo on Frontend Mentor's part, but we'll figure it out, right? We'll figure it out where it goes. It's not teal, that's for sure. So let's move on, though. We got all of our colors. Let's actually build the design. So let's go back here and look at it. So the first thing that we're going to have is an H1 join our community. So we're going to put this whole card in like a container as well so that we can style everything together in one little area, one box. So let's go ahead and do that. So within our container, we're going to have another div with a class for the whole design that's called price card container. And then just delete that for now. And then within our price card container, we're going to have one like top text area that's separate. So this will be the top text area. And then below it, we'll have like a bottom text container with two other divs in it that will flex side by side. So this one's going to be its own. So we're going to call that, we'll just simply call it top text container. So let's just say dot top text container. And then we're going to do our H1. And again, we're going to make it say join our community. Okay. There we go. So start doing all of our HTML markups. Remember, now we're in this top area, okay? So below that, we'll make a paragraph, and I'm just going to call it green text because it's green text, right? And then let's see, 30-day hassle-free money. So I'll start using this down here. So we already did this one. We'll just copy and paste all of our text. So I'll put that in here. And below that, we have some more text. It looks like gray text. So let's say dot gray text. Whoops. And we want this to be a paragraph, so let's just change that. And then we have gain access to all our full library, blah, blah, blah. Honoring their skills. Okay, so it's all, whoops. Cut that. Paste that there. See what we have. See all of our text is coming in nicely. And then let's go below here. So this is going to be a really fast project. We already have the top part done. We just got to do these two parts now. So let's go below our top text container, which is this div here. And we'll make a bottom text container. And then in the bottom text container, we're going to have a div for a monthly subscription text and then another div for the YS text so we can put them side by side. So we'll take care of that now. We'll say dot monthly sub text. And then let's just make the other div now. Say dot y us text. So first let's fill out, let's go left to right. So we'll do the monthly subscription text area and then the YS. So let's go back up to our monthly subtext div. And then we'll make this, I guess we'll make these two H2s. So I'll just make it a heading 2. And that's monthly subscription. Cut that, and paste it up here. And then we've got $29 per month. This is probably like that E5 text, that light text. So maybe I should make like a light text class. Let's see. See your style guide. Yeah. I'm guessing it's this E5 is our light text. And then maybe, let's see, what would this dark color be? This 98A color. Maybe the background for this area. Maybe the background color.
That's the only place I could think where that would work. So we'll see what it looks like. We'll test it out. So what should we make this class? I guess light text. Can't really tell. Let's see. Maybe we can tell better with the preview JPEG. This all looks like that light white color to me, and then this is teal, this per month. So that's how we're going to do it. So let's just make a paragraph with, call it light text. And then the first thing is the $29, which is big. So we're going to put that into a span so we can style it separately. So we'll do a span. And we'll give it a class of large dash text. And then there's going to be the 29. And you can see they did for 29, the 29 part, they use like the Unicode instead of just putting the $sign. I think it's the Unicode, right? This and dollar gives you the $sign. And that's like the best practice to get that symbol. It's better than using the $sign. It's more readable and better for just best practices in general. So that's why they use it. You can use just the $sign if you want. I still often do most of the time if I'm making a $sign. And this is like the professional way to make the $sign basically. And then we got per month. So we'll just say per month. And then below it, we have more light text, full access, less than $1 a day. So we'll just do, and then you know what? Actually, let's make this teal text because we're gonna make this part teal, and then this is gonna get its own styling for large text. So let's just change this class to teal text, and then down here we'll put light text. So p.light text. And then we'll do, we already got the per month. We need this full access less than $1 a day. Cut that and paste it right here. And then we have a button that says sign up below it. So we'll make a button with a class of sign dash up dash BTN. And then we'll put the type on there of button. And then we'll say sign up. So that should be all of the markup that we need for the bottom text area for our first one. And then the next one just says why us, so a heading and then like an unordered list basically is what I'm going to make it. So let's go to the why us text. We'll make another H2, say why us. And then let's make an unordered list. I'll say ul.why. Honestly, we can just put it as a UL. We don't even make a class. It's the only UL here. So we'll just say UL. And then we'll do LI. And then we'll just copy and paste them as we go. So we got these two in here already. So let's bring this up here. And we'll just add them. So we got tutorials by industry experts. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go. So let's copy that down 6 times. Okay, and then we got peer and expert code review. So this is like some kind of coding platform advertisement, right? So let's just see what we have so far. So there's our list. There's our YS. What's next? Coding exercises. Access to our GitHub repos. So get rid of that comment now. We got all of our text in here for the project. Now let's just add some CSS and style this thing up. So we're going to start with our price card container itself. And even before that, this is already bothering me, these little bullet points with the UL. So let's get rid of those before I do anything else. It's just bugging me. So let's just go up here. We'll say UL. List style type, none. There we go. And then let's do we'll go down here. Let's see. Let's go above the H1. I'm going to move my paragraph here because this is just like a global style. And then the H1 is join our community. So let's start right here with our actual price card container. So let's say dot. Let's copy this class over to avoid typos. Say price card container. And if you'll notice in the design, it has some, it looks like some box shadowing on the whole card. So let's actually add that first. So I'm going to go to Google,
I never write my box shadowing from scratch, so I'm going to say box shadow generator. It's a lot easier to write box shadow when you can see how it's going to look. And so I'm going to make these all like zeroed out as close as I can. As you can see, this little tool, I've been using this tool for like 10 years, guys, or as long. It's probably been out for at least 10 years. Been using it forever. Just helps you make box shadow really easily. See, blur radius, and we're just going to we want it to make it subtle, not like super in your face. That's probably good right there. So I'm just going to copy this top box shadow code. These other two were to make this box shadow like compatible in Internet Explorer and old Mozilla, stuff like that. It's just kind of outdated code that you don't really need to add anymore because all browsers, for the most part, behave the same because they use Google Chrome like engine on the back end. So anyway, there's our box shadowing. So that worked. Now I'm going to give our price card container, I'm going to give it a max width of 720 pixels. We're going to say margin. I'm going to say, at least on the desktop, we'll say margin 5 rem top, auto right, 0 rem bottom, and auto left. That'll center the design or center our card. I'm not going to put it absolute center. I'm just going to center it a little bit and give it some margin top. You can make it absolute center if you want by using Flexbox. It's up to you. So there is border radius on here, so you can see those rounded corners. So let's do that. So we're gonna we'll say border radius, and I'm gonna say 8 pixels all around. And then to make sure that stays there when we style other boxes, I'm gonna put another thing called overflow hidden. If you don't do that, it's going to mess up our border radiuses as we continue to code our other boxes down here. So that overflow hidden makes it so your border radius will show. You'll see what I mean as we keep going. So that's all the main styles I want to make. You can see our card kind of starting to take shape here already, so that's cool. The next thing we're going to do is our top text container. So let's copy this. And let's copy and paste our top text container class here. And for this, we're going to say background color white. Make sure it stays white in the background there. Ooh, that reminds me, the background color for this design is like this bluish color, whatever the heck this is. So let's do that now. Let's say background color. I think it's this color. Oops, where's our style guide? I think it's this one. Some kind of gray, right? Let's copy and paste this in here and see how it looks. Oh, it looks so dark. I don't know. Is that it? Huh. Let's see. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if anything, it's the color of the text up here. It's not the background. So what is this background? Because I want to have that on the design. So let's do this. I'm going to take a screenshot. I'm on Mac, so I'm just using the Mac screenshot. If you're on Windows, you can use like your snipping tool to do what I just did. I'm going to go to... I'm just going to type in HTML color codes. This is another online tool that you can use. I'm going to upload my screenshot. And then I'm just going to click in there and see what color it gives me. So this is E6EFF6 according to this online tool. So we'll just use that as our body background. I don't want to just leave it white. So we'll save. Okay. Yep, that looks a lot closer to what it is. So that's cool. And then working our way down here. So what do we have? Top text container white. We'll give our texts and everything in there some padding. We'll say 1.5 rem top and bottom. 2.5 rem left and right. Gives everything some padding. And again, it's not going to be pixel perfect to the design, but it's going to be pretty close. We're just kind of eyeballing it here. What else? Let's start doing our H1. So we have the font size, font weight. We need to do the color. It's going to be like that darker teal. So it should be this one right here, I believe. Copy that color. Paste it here. Join our community. Yep. And then we've got, we'll give it some margin bottom. Say margin bottom 1 rem. Okay. It's pretty close to the design. There's a good amount of space there. Now we're going to do our green text, which is next. Copy our green text class. Go below our H1, we'll say dot green text. And again, guys, really simple design, not much to do here. Just add some colors, very, very simple. So we're gonna say color for that. Go to our style guides right here. Okay, there we go. And then probably got to change the font size on that a little bit. So let's say font size 21 pixels. It looks a little bit bigger. And it looks like a little bolder. So we'll say font weight 700. Again, that's just my observations eyeballing this. 30-day money back guarantee. And for that, I'm going to give it a, oops, we've got our PX here. There we go. And then I'll give this a margin bottom of about, let's say like 0.7 rem, not a full rem. So one rem, guys, is 16 pixels basically. I just like to use rems. You can use pixels if you want. It's the same thing if you say 16 pixels and here maybe like 12 pixels, just to give it a little bit of space on the bottom. We're just trying to like make these spaces in between everything identical to the design the best I can. Next up is, let's see, gray text. Copy that. And for all of our paragraphs, I'm going to give them a line height, but we'll do the gray text first. I'll show you what that does if you don't know what line height is. And we're going to say color. And it's going to be, I believe, this color right here. So copy that. Paste it in. Okay. So gain access to our full library. That looks close enough to me. I'm going to give this, to give our letter or words more space, like vertically here where the spacing is, we're going to give that a line height. So we're going to say all paragraphs, line height of 1.6. That'll make it bigger. And that should all be all we need to do for this top part. It looks pretty good. So now let's do our bottom part. So we got to grab our bottom text container. So let's grab that. And remember, this is the div that wraps around these two right here, so we can flex them. So we'll say dot bottom text container, and we're going to say display flex, and then we're going to say align items and stretch so that they, when we start styling them up, these two divs that are side by side now will always be the same height, basically. They'll keep each other's height so that it looks equal. So that it looks like this down here, how they're the same height. That's what stretch is going to do. So again, I'll demonstrate that later on a little bit better. And then we want these to both be like 50-50 to take up 50% of the space. So an easy way to do that, we can copy bottom text container, and then we can use the, it's pretty much the greater than symbol. And then we can say div. So in other words, both divs that are nested in there, we can say flex 1. And that gives you, if we save and we check it, it gives them like 50-50 spacing basically. So like each box now will take up 50% exactly. So flex 1, that's a little trick there. And now we're going to select both of these and style them up. We're going to add some styles to both of them, so we'll just style both. So I'll show you what I mean here. We're going to say dot monthly subtext, comma, and then we also want to select the YS text at the same time. So we'll say dot YS text. And then for both of them, we're going to say padding, and we'll say 2 rem top, 2.5 rem right, 1.3 rem bottom, and 2.5 rem left. So that gives everything some padding on the sides like the design. See that padding's there. Okay. And up top and up bottom. We're also going to say for both boxes display flex again. Flex direction column so that everything stays in line in the boxes. See how that centered the button and everything? Now everything's going to stay in line and centered. When we use column, it means stack them, but keep them like flexed kind of on top of each other and everything nice and neat. Now our monthly subscription text, we need to change the background color for that. So let's grab this. And we'll say dot monthly subscription text. And we're going to say background color.
And for this one, let's see the design. That's the teal that it gives us. So maybe this one is this dark teal. And then the Y us text. So let's select that separately. Because now they have different background colors. So we're going to select them separately after that. Say background color. It says this other color is a teal. So is it supposed to be this? But it's not a teal. So we put this in here. So yeah, that doesn't look like the design at all. So let's do a let's do a screenshot here. See what our color code thing says. I think that they messed this design up and there's typos and the colors are all wrong. So whatever. We already have the screenshot of both of them. So this one is supposedly 2BB. So it's pretty much this color. And then this one is 4AB. Okay, so we'll just use this color for this background color. See what that looks like. That's better. That actually looks like the design. So I don't know where these colors are coming from, guys. Frontend Mentor drops the ball sometimes, whatever. But we can use online tools and figure it out ourselves, though. All right, so let's do our monthly subscription box, the rest of the styles for that. So we're going to select both H2s and style those up. I'm going to say color. We're going to give them that. We'll give them that E5 color. That definitely isn't teal, even though it says teal. Okay. And then we'll give them both, we'll say margin bottom 1 rem. Give them some space on bottom. And then let's grab our next class. So we have teal text and large text. So say teal text. And for that, we're going to say color. And we'll use this one, I guess. No, see, that's too light. Let's see what our tool says. It's this right here. So maybe like this one. 5C. Let's see what this does. Looks like this, because it looks like when it says per month, it's kind of tealish. Or maybe they just used opacity. See the per month? I don't know. Let's see the design. I mean, that's pretty much what it looks like, right? It's very light like that. So yeah, I'm going to keep it like that. And then we'll style the big text, which is going to be big and white for the $29. So what do we call it? Large text. Dot large text. Say font size, 32 pixels. Font weight, 700. Say color. Whoop. This one, E5, E5, E5. There we go, $29. And then, is that big enough? Yeah, that's pretty big. Then we want a space between these, so we got to actually add the space between our span and per month. There we go. And it might even be more than that. We might just want to keep them together and use padding maybe. So it looks like more than a space. So, or let's just do this. Say padding right, an additional 3 pixels. Push it over. I mean, we don't want it over super, but there is some padding there. Maybe it's more than that. 5 pixels. Yeah, that's good enough. So there's a little gap there now. What's up next? Full access text. So what did we call that? Light text. So we'll say dot light text, color, and we'll do the E5 color again. Full access for less than $1 a day. And now let's do our button. So we got our sign up BTN. Copy that, paste it here. All right, so for this one, we're going to say background color. It's going to be that green. We'll say color of the text will be the E5. Say border, none. And then let's actually look at what we're building here. So there's our button taking shape. We'll say border radius 8 pixels to make it rounded like the design. That might be too rounded, but we'll check that. We'll give it a width. I'm going to give it a fixed width of 250 pixels and a height of 50 pixels. Okay, so is that too rounded? No, I mean, that's pretty much what the other button looks like. That's fine. And we're just guessing on the border radiuses, guys. I don't really know what the real one is for the actual design, but all right, so we got width, height, say font size 18 pixels. It's better. Say font weight 700. We'll say cursor. Whoops, got our semicolon here. We'll say cursor pointer, so we get the pointer when you hover over it. And we'll say margin 2 rem top and bottom, 0 rem left and right. Okay. Looks pretty close. So maybe just 2 rem top, 1 rem bottom, 0 rem left and right. Yeah, it might be a little closer to the design. That's better. Cool. All right, so there's that. And now we just got to do the YS area. So we have our YS text background color set. And then the other one is already white. So now we just need to do the LI. Style or LIs probably. So our LI styles are going to be margin 0.5 rem top and bottom to space them out, 0 rem left and right. And then the color is going to be the E5. There we go. And then font size, we'll make sure it's 16 pixels for the LIs. I think that's it, guys. Let's see. There's ours. There's the real design. More importantly, we can do this. Boom, boom. Pretty close. Good enough for me, right? So not pixel perfect, but definitely good enough. Maybe there's less space in between these though, between our list items. Maybe instead of 0.5, we can do like 0.2. That's probably closer, maybe 0.3. We're just getting nitpicky now. I think 0.3 looks really good. Or sorry, we should look at it like this. That's good enough. That makes them look more equally sized. So now we just got to make it mobile, which is actually super easy. So probably just only have to do like a couple lines of code for that because it's, we basically have to stack everything on top of each other. So let's make a comment down here. We'll say media queries. Say at media screen and max width 767 pixels. And then all we're going to do, we'll select our price card container, copy that, paste it down, and let's look at this in a mobile. So we did 767 and lower. So the reason I picked that is because, so this is our design now, it's all messed up. iPad mini is like the smallest iPad at 768 that's popular on the market. So we'll just say everything lower than that is going to be the mobile. So let's look at it from like an iPhone 12 perspective. And for this, I just want to change the margin because I don't want it to be all the way down here on mobile phones. Look at all that space. That looks stupid. So we're going to say margin 1 rem top and 1 rem bottom. That looks better. And then we just got to take our bottom text container now. So take this, copy it down here. And all we have to do here is say flex direction column to stack those other boxes on top of each other. And that's pretty much it. Now it's mobile friendly. I mean, that's really all we have to do because we wrote our code in such a way that everything else is going to be pretty good, pretty mobile responsive. So if we look at the design, mobile design, there it is. Okay. So that's all it is, guys. That's the end of this one. Hopefully this helped you out and you enjoyed this tutorial. Again, guys, if you like my teaching style, if you enjoy it, go to thecompletewebdevelopercourse.com. We'll teach you everything. I'll start you off with HTML and CSS so you can truly master it. You don't have to watch tutorials anymore. I'll get you learning JavaScript the correct way, PHP, MySQL database. You will be a full stack developer by the end of the course. And if you're not ready to buy the course or you're not feeling that, you don't have enough money right now, that's fine. Check the description again, guys. Get my free practical web dev roadmap. It's completely for free. You can follow it step by step, and I guarantee you will get some success from this, okay? This would have saved me years, so check that out as well. Again, completely free for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.